Welcome to the Healthpreneur Podcast. My name is Uriel Kame, New York Times bestselling author, former professional athlete, and founder of Healthpreneur, the world's leading company helping health and fitness experts start and scale high-end coaching businesses. If you want to attract more clients, learn how to convert them without feeling salesy, and deliver an amazing program for them on the back end, if you want to be inspired by what others just like you have gone through and how you can do the same no matter what life throws your way, then you are in the right place, because every single week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we're going to be bringing you the best to help you take your knowledge and expertise to the next level with your health or fitness coaching business. And if you enjoy what you see and hear and would like to take your business to the next level, then I invite you to check out our free online training over at healthpreneurgroup.com/training. And for now, let's get into today's episode. Do you know what today is? Today is the day after my birthday. That's right, March 24th, which is yesterday, I turned 39 years old. 39 years old, it's amazing, it's crazy. You know, it's so weird because I talk to people about like, hey man, like you used to play pro soccer. And I was like, yeah, like I used to do that. And I'm thinking like I retired 15 years ago. Like that is crazy talk in my mind. I don't feel 39. I feel really good. I feel like I'm in my mid 20s at the most. Maybe I look a bit different, but I feel really good. And in this episode, I want to share, it's a special birthday episode. I want to share 5 really unexpected lessons that I've learned in the past year, mostly related to business. I mean, obviously I can share a ton more around like family stuff and parenting, and maybe I'll do that in a future episode. But for now, I want to keep it somewhat tight and concise. And listen, I've been in business. I'm very, very, very fortunate to have been in business for a long time. I started my first business in 2006. Actually, that's not true. I started my first business as a kid. I was telling my son Oscar, he's like, how did you make money when you were a kid? And I told him, I'm like, that's a good question. So I told him I would knock on people's doors. I would shine shoes. I'd be like, hey man, you got some shoes you want to shine? Like 50 cents a pair. I would shovel driveways. I would mow lawns. When we lived in a townhome complex, I took care of all the lawn maintenance, like the sprinkling and stuff like that. Washed cars. So I've always been an entrepreneur. I've always been someone who was thinking about ways to make money and do all that stuff from a young age. And it's just the way I am, right? So I started my first business online in 2006, and it's been a really, really good ride. A lot of ups and downs, as I mentioned before, way more downs than ups. And that's the reality for most entrepreneurs in business. Like you're going to go through periods of time where it just feels really, really bad. Can I keep doing this? Like I can't even pay the bills. How am I going to pay for food? Should I keep doing this? Like all sorts of self-doubt, right? All that stuff creeps in. So if you've experienced that, if you haven't experienced that, you're a friggin' alien. I'm just going to put it that way. Because like, listen, that's the emotional journey you go through as an entrepreneur, right? There's so many lessons, and I want to share 5 big lessons, rather unexpected lessons that have really hit me hard the last year. So without any further ado, let's jump into this, okay? So number 1 is the realization that I'm still doing too much in my business. I really am still doing too much in my business. And the only thing that I can boil that down to is I'm a control freak. I have been doing this for so long that I'm really good in many things. And I talked about this with our Luminaries Masterminds clients in Tampa. We did an exercise called the Magic Matrix and the Dream Team. And one of the exercises was identifying your danger zone. Danger zone activities are things you become very, very good at, but are not your true genius. And for me, that was selling and copywriting and running Facebook ads, right? And there's probably a couple others in there as well, because those are things that I've become very, very good at because I had to do that to grow my business, but I don't love doing them. And so there are things in my business, even to today, that if I really take a step back and ask myself, hey man, this is something someone else should be doing, don't do it, I'm probably gonna be a lot better off. And so here's the thing is we often feel that I'm just gonna get this done because it's gonna take me 10 minutes. And that's the danger, is because it takes us so little time to do this, we think we can just do it. But what I wanna challenge you and me with is, dude, take 30 minutes, map out the process, and give it to someone else, expecting it to be done in twice or 3 times the time it would take you to get done. So let's say I wanted this one thing to get done today. Now, if you're like me, you probably want everything done today, right? But the people you work with are like, dude, you're freaking crazy. I need more time. I need more structure around this, okay? So you want something done today. Take a step back, breathe, and ask yourself, is this something someone else can do? If the answer is yes, then map out exactly what it's going to look like. We do this through a process called the Result Accelerator. Ironically, it's a worksheet I don't even use that much with my team, and I need to make a point of doing it more often, because essentially what it does is it helps us clarify what it is that we want, why it's important, and then really map out the success criteria. This is what it should look like when it's done. You hand that off to the person running the operations or the project. You give it to them, they make it happen. So yes, I want this done today, but is it okay if it takes 3 days to get it done? Probably. And if everything is last minute and urgent, you probably need to relook at how you're doing things in your business. So that's the big thing for me, was still doing too much in my business. And I got to make it a point of really, really being a lot more diligent about handing things off. 2, and this kind of segues from number 1, is every problem you have in your business is a people problem. This was reminded to me by my good friend Dan Martell, super successful entrepreneur. We're in the same mastermind together, and we're sharing all of our metrics for the quarter on a big scoreboard. And he was talking. One of the guys in our group had set a goal from the last quarter, and he was like nowhere near it. And what Dan kind of brought up to the group after everyone had shared their numbers was, he's like, hey guys, you see all these gaps on your scoreboards? These are all people problems. And I was like, man, that is so true. That is so true. It's not that. So when I say people problems, I mean, number 1, maybe you need an extra person or another person on the team to do this thing to help you move that needle. Number 2, maybe it's a process issue with the person. Like you're not clearly communicating what they're responsible for, what their metrics should be, they should be accountable to, or maybe it's the wrong person doing the work. So really knowing what the work is and if that person's even a match to do it. And that was a big, big epiphany for me, and understanding that in order for us to scale, in order for you to scale your business, it's only a matter of people. That's it. Like if you want to grow your business exponentially, get more people on your team, because the alternative is you do everything yourself. And you can still build a very successful business all by yourself, depending on your business model. But at a certain point, it's going to break. And to really scale beyond that, it's people. It's going to be people in different areas, different departments, different skill sets that you don't have. And the nature of the business, especially when you start getting to like the $2 to $10 million range, that's kind of the world in which we're playing, is a very different animal than the 0 to 1 million. Like 0 to, let's say, I would say 0 to $500,000 in sales. The number 1 objective of your business is to sell like crazy. You just have to figure out a pipeline and sell and sell and sell. And you have to generate revenue. But once you hit a point where it's like the airplane taking off, a lot of energy to get off the runway, right? And you've probably experienced this and maybe sometimes sunken into a little bit of a panic. When the airplane takes off and it's like full engines, like, and then all of a sudden it's like, whoa, what happened to the engines? Like, are we going down? No. The reason that happens is because airplanes are not going to fly at full power, because they're going to blow through their gas and it's going to cost the airlines a ton of money. So what they do is they're at full power when they take off, and they throttle way back at a certain altitude, and then they'll kind of level off, right? And then they continue to climb. This is known as like a step climb. So they'll do, right? So the same thing happens in businesses. There's a lot of energy to take off. And then you hit that initial kind of 10,000 feet, which let's just call it $100,000 in revenue. Things stabilize a tiny bit. And then you're like, cool, let's keep going. We got to get to cruising altitude. So we go from 10 to 20,000 feet, or let's say 100,000 to 500,000 in revenue. You ramp up some energy again. You start, getting the work done, selling, enrolling clients. You get up to $500,000. Things are good. And then you're kind of at that cruising altitude. And now it's really a matter of starting to bring people in, really rectifying systems in your business to move to that next level. And once you hit about $2 million in revenue, the nature of the business changes. And you start to become more of a leader as opposed to a doer. And that's really been continues to be a big thing for me to really think about and work on is dude, you're not like, don't do so much, man. Just lead the team. Bring other leaders onto the team. Let them drive the business forward. So that's part of kind of my evolution. And it's very exciting because we're in a good place. And I'm really excited for the growth that we're going to see over the next year. And I know the only way we can do that is by bringing on great players. One of my first clients, Amanda Tress, who is actually on the podcast, they do more than $1 million a month now. She is a great example of someone who has publicly said the only reason that they've grown to the point of where they're at is because she's brought amazing people on her team, right? And amazing people doesn't mean like you hire random people on Fiverr to do graphic work. It means like you're hiring like C-level people, like VP of operations, director of marketing, stuff like that once you hit a certain point, okay? So every problem is a people problem initially and down the road, right? If you're spending too much time creating graphics, guess what? It's a people problem. Fire yourself, hire someone else to do those graphics. It'll cost you $5-10. Third lesson is it takes courage, not money, to build a successful business. We talked about this with Xander Fryer the other week, talking about how like self-belief and courage are prerequisites to anything in life. And I don't care how much money you have or how much money you don't think you have, you always have more than you think because there's something called credit. And I have no problem telling you to get a credit card and invest in yourself and your business. Because every single time you do, assuming you do the work, it's going to pay off exponentially. This year alone, I'm spending $8,000 a month on my own coaching, masterminds, education. I don't say that to brag. I say that because I need that to move to the next level. I need it because I need to learn things and be exposed to things that I don't currently know. And when I first hired my first coach in 2010, actually, that's not true. I actually worked with a coach before that, but it was 2005, I think, up until about 2006, midway through 2006. That was a bit of a different thing. It was $200 a month. It wasn't a big investment. We checked in twice a month. It was really good. That was like the first formal coaching I had back in 2005. But when I really took the leap to grow my business after struggling for 3 years I said, listen, dude, man, you got to hire a coach, someone who knows what the hell they're doing. And so it was $18,000. I didn't have that. I said, you know what? I'm going to figure a way to make this work. So I put it on my credit card. And I've always been the type of person who's like, I'm going to jump out of the plane, even though I love flying and I would never jump out of a plane. I shouldn't say never. I'd rather not. But I'm like, I'm going to jump and I'm going to build a parachute as we go. And that's always the way I've been. I'm not saying you have to be like that, but I do believe you have to have courage. And courage, see, here's the funny thing. We've talked about this before. And I think what I should do is actually one of the upcoming episodes, I'm going to share my courage code talk from Healthpreneur Live because I think it'll be really valuable for you. See, courage is not something that happens after having a lot of success. I mean, it helps. Courage is like a muscle, right? You keep working your muscles, they're going to get stronger. Courage comes right after commitment. So the way I see this is this. You have vision, right? The first thing is you have a vision for what you want to do. Second thing is you make a decision to take action. And then decision to capabilities, like the journey from making that decision to building the capabilities to create that outcome, that whole journey of action is called courage. It's a bridge you have to go through from making the decision to getting the outcomes you want. And then from the capabilities, you build confidence. The more confidence you have, the more courage you can take, the more courage you build, and it becomes a really cool self-perpetuating cycle. But you don't need a stash of money to start a business. You need courage. You need self-belief. You have to have the ability to say to yourself, I don't know how to do this, but I can figure it out. I can figure it out. I can find people who can help me. I'm resourceful. I can do things. I've succeeded in the past. I can do it again. You have to lean on experience. All these different moments in your life where you've had some degree of success, those are reference points to remind you that you can do it again, even if it's in a completely new space. What was it that allowed me to play professional soccer? It's exactly the same thing that's allowed me to build 2 7-figure companies. Exactly the same thing. Completely different industries, completely different walks of life, but the common thread was me. Not the people around me, nothing else. It was me, and it's you. And what that means is that you have beliefs in your head that are hurting you or helping you. And you need to water the ones that are helping you, and you need to pull the weeds out of your head for the ones that are not helping you. And you constantly have to be tending to this internal garden, because if you have self-doubt, that's fine. We all have self-doubt. But you need to get to the point where your self-belief and your desire overshadow that self-doubt. Because if it doesn't, you will stall, you will procrastinate, and you won't move forward. And that means you're choosing fear over your dream. And what that ends up happening, or what ends up happening because of that, is a life lived, half lived, really. It's a life half lived. It's you know there's something big you want to do, but you're scared. And I'm here to tell you that you will never not be scared. You will get better at handling the scared. And that's called courage. And there's no remedy, there's no Pepto-Bismol, there's no magic pill other than repetition. So I love how Xander mentioned in our interview, talked about, I think he called it the courage challenge or something like that, right? So he would, little things like do something every single day that requires a little bit of courage. Say hi to a stranger, smile to someone, and they're going to give you that awkward look. Who cares, right? Do things every day that are going to challenge your courage and build that muscle, because that is all it is building a muscle. Why is it that someone is more confident in sales than someone else? They just put in the reps, right? They went through a lot of no's. They picked up the phone again. No, thanks. Okay, cool. Next. Dude, when I was in my early 20s, I was selling mattresses, going door to door. Now, I didn't do that for a long time. I did it for a couple of weeks, I think, but it was a really great experience, because from one door to the next, I'm like, okay, well, that didn't work. The person didn't even open the door. How do I approach the next one? How do I refine my approach? How do I get it better? No. Oh yeah, cool. Tell me more. No. Like, you do enough of that, you'll get better. You'll build your courage. And at the end of the day, you're like, you know what? Who cares? Like, I'm not taking anything personally. So you have to have courage to move your business forward. Okay, that's a big lesson. And it's something I see a lot of people. We did 1,300 enrollment calls last year. Okay, we didn't enroll 1,300 people. And the number one reason is because of the people who did not enroll, aside from the people who were not a fit for us, the number one thing holding them back is a lack of courage. It's simple. I don't have the money, I talked to my spouse, bullshit, whatever. It's a lack of courage. That's all it is. Let's just be honest, okay? It's fear. That's it. Fourth lesson is the power of meaningful goals. Not all goals are created equal. And I don't believe you should set goals that have no visceral charge for you. So when I was playing soccer, it was very easy for me to work out. Very easy. I would train in the morning by myself. I'd train with the team afterwards. And I had a very clear vision of what I was doing. I wanted to train. I wanted to become more explosive, more powerful, so I could jump 1 inch higher, dive 1 inch farther, kick the ball a little bit more accurately, whatever it was. It was very clear why I was training. When I stopped playing soccer when I was 25 at that level, and I still played for a couple of years just recreationally, my workouts really just went to the shit because I had no compelling goal for what I was doing. It was like, I want to look better. Who cares? I still want to perform better. That's important. Yeah, but it was like, what am I performing for, right? And really recently, like I'm talking about within the last 6 weeks, I was listening to a podcast on the Tim Ferriss show where he was interviewing I think John Summers, who's the Olympic coach, the U.S. Olympic gymnastics coach. And I'm listening to this interview. It's like 3 hours long. And I'm like, I was on a plane. It was perfect. And I'm like, this is what I want to do. this is what I want to do. Because as you know, I love tennis. Like tennis, I'm obsessed with tennis. But the challenge with tennis, and I've got a little bug flying around here. The challenge with tennis is that for me, I'm not a very flexible, mobile guy. So I've always had shoulder issues, right? So I'll play tennis for a couple of weeks. I'm like, shit, my shoulders are acting up again. I got to do treatment. It's really been a nagging, like one of those like just, nagging things. And so I thought to myself, I've always admired gymnasts, like the strength, their physique, their mobility, everything. They're the most complete athlete. And I thought to myself, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to train like a gymnast. I'm doing deadlifts. I don't even have the flexibility in my ankles to do deadlifts. Why am I doing deadlifts? Right? Who cares? Like every time I lift, I'll just kind of tweak a muscle in my back. I'm like, what am I doing this for? So they've got a great program called Gymnastics Bodies. I think it's gymnasticsbodies.com. It is an amazing platform, severely underpriced. I should actually send them an email, be like, dudes, you should be charging $10,000 for this minimum, because what they've given me is a structured path to not only achieving, the goals I want to achieve, but it's given me a meaningful goal to work towards. And now I know exactly how I can get there. So my goal by Healthpreneur Live, which is in September, full splits, press to handstand, right? Those are my two goals. So why does that matter? It's not about doing the press to handstand. It's not about doing the splits. It's about what those represent for me in terms of how I feel. The best I've ever felt in my life was when I was doing hot yoga 3 times a week. And now that I have this gymnastics routine, and I'm not talking about like doing like horizontal bar and pommel horse and stuff like that. All I'm doing for now is I'm building my mobility. I'm reconditioning my connective tissue to not be so tight. I'm working on mobility and strength at the same time. I have a gym in my house. I don't even use the bar anymore. I'm not even using weights. I'm using my body weight. I'm getting mobility going. But for me now, it's like I see the end results, because I can see as I increase my thoracic mobility, I'm going to be more performant in my tennis serve. I'm going to have less shoulder issues. As I improve my scapular mobility, all of this stuff is going to help. So the way I'm training now is a lot more meaningful than it was for the past 10 years. So bringing this back home for the lesson I've learned is like in your business or in your life, like you have to set goals that are meaningful so that you feel excited about working towards them. So look at your goals and just ask yourself, like, do I care about this thing? Or is this like a vanity metric that I thought I should go after? And just, you can always just scratch the goal. Like you can scratch the goal and be like, you know what? This doesn't matter. I'm going to just white it out and I'm going to set a new one. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay. The fifth lesson is that lead flow is the lifeblood of your business. So we've had two specific instances of this. So last year, I was running all my Facebook ads in the early part of the year, going great, like crushing it. And then our ad account got shut down. I'm like, what the right? Not good, because 95% of our business is reliant on Facebook ads. And you might be saying, well, maybe that's not a good thing. Well, it is kind of, if you know what you're doing. But again, there was a bit of risk with that, right? So when our ad account got shut down, our lead flow got shut down to 0. And I'm like, that's not good, right? Now, the good thing is that we had recurring revenue because of the way because not all of our clients pay in full, right? So they have, payment plans and so forth. So it gave us a little bit of wiggle room. So we set up a new account. 2 weeks later, it's going great, shut down. I'm like, oh my God, what is going on? I'm in Mexico at the time on a vacation with my family, and all this is happening. And I'm trying to like coordinate with our team to be like, hey man, can you set up an account under this person's name, this person's credit card? It was just mayhem. We had 6 ad accounts in the space of 4 weeks shut down. And I got to the point where I'm like, oh my God, like, is this going to be our business for the next forever, right? Like, this is really not fun. But I also understood that Facebook has everyone I could possibly ever want to serve. So it's a worthwhile battle. I needed to figure out a way to make this stability, to make it more stable, because if we don't have that lead flow stability as a relatively new business, right? So Healthpreneur, we started 4 years ago. The first 2 years were really like haphazard. I wasn't really focused on it. I was still in my health business. And then about 2.5 years ago, I really went 100% in Healthpreneur. And this is kind of how we built it from scratch with Facebook advertising into our perfect client pipeline. And it's been great. But the challenge was that we had no organic following. I didn't have an Instagram account at the time. I wasn't doing anything on YouTube. I mean, our blog was simply non-existent, and now it's just the podcast repurposed on the blog, and it's not like we get a ton of traffic. And I share this with you because if you're doing things like that and they're not generating consistent lead flow for you, you are screwed big time. And we see this all the time. Like, oh, I've got a coaching business. How many coaching clients do you have? I've got 0. Okay, great. Well, you don't have a coaching business. What are you doing to get clients? Posting flyers at Starbucks, posting on Instagram once a month. I'm like, dude, you don't have a business. You have a friggin' nightmare. Lead flow is everything in your business. Now, you have to deliver a great service. Like that shouldn't even be part of the discussion. Like, you have to be amazing at what you do and really help your clients. But if you don't have lead flow, that's the lifeblood of your business. If you don't have leads coming in, you are toast. Okay. And yes, I'm a big believer in referrals and making sure your clients are super happy and kind of generating back-end stuff like that. But if you don't have leads coming in, it's the single biggest problem we deal with. And the single biggest problem we help our clients solve is I don't have enough leads or clients. How do we solve that? Well, you come work with us. So during this process, I knew that I was going to have an issue having our ad accounts stay active. So I reached out to another firm. I'm not going to mention them because it wasn't a good experience. Agency, $10,000 a month retainer, and then going up from there based on ad spend. They said, yeah, I told them, I'm like, listen, I know you guys are great at what you do. I just need my ad accounts active every single day, no issues. We know this works. We know our ROI. We just need to scale and we need to stay active. They said, yeah, we can certainly do that. We just need to have a look at your accounts. And I said, cool, here are my accounts. I don't know if you can access them because they've been deactivated or shut down or whatever. 5 weeks later, nothing is happening. I sent them an email. I'm like, dude, WTF? It's been 5 weeks without our ads running. What is going on? We're having a challenge getting into this account. I'm like, dude, I don't care. Like, this is unacceptable. It doesn't take you 5 weeks to do this. So I said, you guys were toast. I'm not working with you guys. This is ridiculous. I sent my buddy Nicholas Kuzmich, who ironically I should have contacted in the first place because he actually ran ads for us when we first started Healthpreneur, and he's the best in the world. And I sent him an email and I was like, hey man, like, I don't know what your workload looks like. I don't know what your capacity is at right now. But here's the issue. Here's the challenge we're in. Would you be able to take us on and run our stuff? He's like, yeah, for sure. I was like, dude, that's amazing. 2 days later, everything's active. It's been active ever since, and it's been great. So if you don't have a consistent stream of leads coming into your business, you're going to run into challenges, I promise you. And then the next thing is obviously improving the conversion funnel and all that kind of stuff. But if you don't have people coming into your business, you don't have a business, okay? Like, you have to look in the mirror and you have to be very honest with yourself. Is what I'm doing putting enough money in the bank? If the answer is yes, keep doing it. If the answer is no, stop doing what you're doing. Or if you're kind of, building up what it is that you think is going to work, continue doing that. But if you've been beating the drum, if you've been beating the same thing for months or years and you're barely scraping by, and guys, like, it really hurts me when I'm like, hey, like, what's your monthly revenue at right now? I'm doing about $1,000 a month. I'm like, how do you eat? How do you survive on that level of income? You can't. And this goes back to courage. Like, you have to have the courage to step up. And listen, if you want our help, we can help you. Okay? Invest the money to work with us. Don't worry about what other people have done or have not done. It has zero bearing on your success. I will tell you what the most important determinant of your success is your self-belief. If you don't believe that you can get results working with us or anyone else, you will never get the results you want. I promise you that. We have a lot of people that ask us, like, hey, like, show me some proof that your stuff works. I'm like, we know our stuff works. Here's some proof. Have a look at the testimonials. I still need more time to think about it. I still need more proof. I'm like, you're full of shit. Sorry for my language here, but it's, as you can tell, I get very passionate about this. You see, if you were to draw a triangle and we have attract, convert, deliver around the triangle, right? So we help you attract leads. We help you convert them into paying clients. We help you deliver an amazing result for them. We know this process works. Do me a favor, draw your name in the middle of the triangle. The one variable in this process we don't yet know about is you. So please tell me why we should hire you as a client. And that's the discussion that really should be happening is, listen, I don't need to sell you on the fact that we know what we're doing. You need to sell me on why we should work with you, because you need to prove to us that you will do the work. Because I'll promise you, you're going to struggle. You're going to go through challenges. You're going to hit your head against the wall. You're going to have self-doubt. Some of your stuff is going to suck. Some of your stuff is going to work. Some of it's not. And what are you going to do when that happens? You're going to cry about it? You're going to hide under the covers? No. Some people, the answer is yes. And some people take 1 year to create a webinar, and that's unacceptable in my eyes. And if you are the type of person who's great at what you do, and you're generating revenue right now, you're working with clients, but you're not growing fast enough, but you want to go to the next level, then let's have a chat. So I'm going to finish off this episode with a little bit of tough love, because that's the way I work, man. I'm telling you, don't come to work with us. Obviously, if you don't like my tone and the way I approach things, you're not going to work with us anyways, and that's totally fine. But if you need a real kick in the ass and you want a very simple process to follow to build your business substantially and rather quickly, then go to healthpreneurgroup.com/training. Watch the training. If you resonate with what we're talking about, then book a call with us. Because I promise you, nothing else you will do will produce the results we can help you produce. But you have to believe in yourself. You have to understand that you are the only determining factor in your success. And yes, the business model does come into play. Absolutely. And that's why I'm so adamant about this business model. If you are great at coaching, if you enjoy speaking with people, and you are, if you've got a great idea that can serve others, then we can help you. And I can promise you that having done almost every other business model you can imagine, the blogging, the content marketing, the affiliate stuff, you name it, nothing comes close to what we do with our clients. And I promise you that if you work with us and do the work and you just keep persisting, you're guaranteed to create some amazing results. Like one of our clients, Brandy, it took her 2 months to get her perfect client pipeline deployed. Her first week, she made $10,600. That's pretty good. Now, does that happen all the time to everyone? No. Right? Some people see slower results. Some people see amazing results as well. Another one of our clients, Dan, he 3x his ROI in the first week of working with us by sending 2 emails to his following, right? So these are the things that we can help you do, but you have to have the courage to step up and you have to believe in yourself, because I can't give you a magic pill to give you magic self-belief. That's up to you. But if you know you're awesome at what you do and you just need a better business model and better coaching, then we can be that for you. So again, healthpreneurgroup.com/training. Watch the training, then book a call with us, and we'll take it from there. So anyways, that is the end of today's episode, the birthday episode, 5 unexpected lessons I have learned in the past year. It's been a really good 12 months. The next 12 months are going to be even better, as I'm sure they will be for you, right? Hopefully, right? And thanks again for joining me today. Continue to get out there, be great, and do great. And I'll see you in our next episode. Hey, thanks so much for joining us on this episode of the Healthpreneur Podcast. If you've enjoyed this episode, here's what I'd like you to do right now. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the Healthpreneur Podcast on iTunes. And while you're there, leave us a rating or review. It helps us get in front of more people and change more lives. And if you're ready to start or scale your health or fitness coaching business and want to start getting in front of more people, working with them at a higher level without trading time for money, then I invite you to check out our free 7-figure health business blueprint training, totally free right now. And you can do so at healthpreneurgroup.com/training. For now, thank you so much for joining us. Continue to be great, do great, and I look forward to seeing you in the next episode.